All right, welcome back. Good to see you again to our weekly live stream today. Of course, we're going to be covering 10K per month, 10K per month wholesale real estate live. That's what we're going to be covering today. Um, let's see here. All right, just wanted to cut that out real quick. Welcome back. We've got a few things to cover today. I'll go through the typical, spiel. Hopefully you can be enlightened and educated. All right. So welcome back. Wholesale real estate is an interesting topic. It's something that I'm digging back up. This is my Empire Pro. If you look on this channel, we have 1,300 plus videos. Okay, a lot of them are on wholesale real estate. If you look at the homepage of this page, you would notice that we actually do have of 2 free courses on wholesale real estate on this pages on this platform right here. So feel free to take advantage of them. If you're just getting started, if you're learning for the first time, feel free to take advantage of them. All right, but again, today we're just going to cover a couple of things. Okay, a couple of things. Let me do give you a quick recap of a quick overview of what we're going to cover today. Okay, but before I get into that, what is wholesale real estate? Wholesale real estate is the art and the science of finding deeply discounted properties, real estate properties, finding them, locking them under contract, and then assigning those contracts to other people for a fee, an assignment fee. And it can, it can go anywhere from $0 to $82,000 based from one deal, based off of my experience. The reality is that I've never really closed a deal with $0, but I've walked out of closing with $0 and then gotten checks after the fact. It just depends on how the deal is structured. Okay, so I wanted to bring you quickly up to speed on that. So that's what wholesale real estate, wholesale in trade terms simply means you're buying something at a discount for the very purpose of reselling it for a profit. So think of it as we're doing that in real estate, right? It's a viable business. It's always, wherever you are in the world, people are already doing that. Okay, so it's just a matter of now I'm teaching you how to do it in the United States. And but it all starts with marketing. Of course, in this time and age, we're talking about we're talking about we're talking about digital marketing. Okay, now you can still use other forms of marketing. You can use outbound, inbound. Inbound means people are you've managed to set up marketing campaigns and people are calling you to ask you to buy their houses. It's as simple as that. The marketing message is simple. We buy houses. Why? Because we buy houses and we're looking for discounted houses so we can sell them for a profit. All right. So, and I hope that makes sense. And that's what we're doing. That's very, very simple. Okay. So tonight I'm going to break down the exact system that I use to generate $10,000 a month wholesaling real estate step by step. As a matter of fact, we did take a break a little bit from this business module and we are rebooting things again. I'm teaching everything I know about this business from scratch for free on this platform. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, okay? Because I'll be bringing you the journey. The first time I attempted this was back in May 2005, right after I graduated with a master's degree. I did not close my first deal until 6 months later, which was around December 2005, rather. I think I said 2006 or 2005. By the time I was closing my first deal, I had about 3 other deals in the pipeline. That first deal generated $10,000. All right, so I'll tell you more stories as we go. And if you really want some of the stories that I've had, well, within the next 24 months after that, I did 31 deals. And, so this is not just me teaching theoretical stuff. Again, we're rebooting this because things are happening in the real estate market right now. They just cut interest rates yesterday. How does that affect you? Well, if you're trying to do this as a business, following my lead, Not so much, okay? But you should pay attention, because at the end of the day, somewhere in the pipeline, the interest rate affects how your deals flow. But let's keep it in mind. What I'm teaching you here is really a marketing strategy that leverages the product real estate for you to build a business first, but then from that business you're able to extrapolate. Is that an English word? I think so. Some of the best deals that you can keep for your own personal portfolio. But the idea here is, well, we're helping investors find some of the best deals available in the marketplace. And how we do that is we basically look for properties that are available at a discount. Okay. I do use a web-based software that makes life a lot more easier. You can choose to go to the courthouse for free and be extracting all the information, or you can take a test drive of this software called PropStream. All right, it's called PropStream, and let me see. I'll keep the link on the screen. All the links are available. So there are 3 links you will find in the description box. 3 links to my 3 books. They're also available on Amazon for pennies, almost pennies. But you can also get this one. You can test it out for free. One of the people that was taking action last week told me it's 7 days trial. I thought it was 30 days trial, but you get to take a free trial of it. So you can, thank God I didn't put a number on that. But you can try PropStream for free at myempirepro.com/PropStream. And again, links to the books you're looking at on the screen, they're in there. Now they're in the description. Now let's get into some of the conversation for the day. All right, this is what, once you get going, this is what PropStream looks like right there. This is what it looks like, and you can literally search for properties, more than hundreds of thousands of properties around United States, web-based, everything. And then how I use it, you're going to learn more about that as we go. All right, so today we're going to start on a clean slate, like I said. Okay, what is wholesale real estate? Wholesale real estate is the heart and the science of finding deeply discounted properties, real estate properties to be precise. Okay. All right. Let me say that again, just in case, I try to break that down to simple so you can really get a grasp of what we're talking about. Again, wholesale real estate is the heart and science of finding deeply discounted properties. Okay, locking them under contract, a sales contract at a deep discounted price, and then taking that sales contract, assigning it to an end buyer investor for an assignment fee. The target is $10,000 minimum per deal. The average net profit you can make per deal is somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000. Okay, I've done this many times. The first time I attempted this was back in 2005. Within 6 months, I closed my first deal. But hey, where the work is finding the deals. How do you find the deals? There's inbound, there's outbound. Okay, outbound is you're cold calling people, a pre-foreclosure list, a list of list pendens. We're going to talk about list pendens, a list of tax liens, people that own taxes against their properties that are on a public list somewhere that indicates that they're in distress. So finding those deals, and then you basically engage a conversation, and I'll tell you what that looks like. And then once you lock up a contract at a discounted deal, 70% of the after repair value or lower. And then once you lock that up, then you find an end buyer investor who will take over the contract from you, and they will pay you an assignment fee. You do majority of the deals like that. Some of those deals might be just so sweet, and you have the resources, the credit, the cash for down payment, and then you keep them for your own personal portfolio. All right, that's wholesale real estate. Real quick, now there's about 3 phases in what I just described. There are 3 phases in everything I just described. Hold on one second, guys. Let's see here. Pardon me, guys. So the three phases are, the first phase is marketing, right? And if you don't know what marketing is, it simply means you set up a campaign that has a simple message that people can reach out to you. Okay, marketing. Now, there's marketing, and then there's also, like I said, there's two types of marketing. There's inbound, there's outbound. Inbound is basically marketing campaign that you set up that basically allow people to reach out to you. Outbound is when you initiate the contact. So cold calling, knocking on doors, I don't encourage those. There are many people that have done them successfully. I just think an average person will not survive it. Okay, I think an average person will not survive it because you're going to get rejection in your face on a consistent basis. Does that make sense? So wholesale real estate is the business of finding deeply discounted properties, right there, securing them under a purchase contract, and then, okay, so securing them under a purchase contract, that second step is called the acquisition step, and then assigning that contract to an end buyer for a fee. All right, that's called the disposition. So the typical assignment fee, let me put this down a little bit. The typical assignment fee is what? About $10,000, with average net profit ranging between $15,000 to $20,000 per deal. This is money coming in your pocket. Why? This is not a get rich quick scheme. It's an operation. It's a marketing operation that find real estate deals. Okay, like I said, I did not close my deal for the first 6 months. After that, it flowed. For the next 24 months after that, I did 31 deals until the market crashed in 2008. And 2008, I've been in and out because I got distracted by many other businesses that I've been doing since then. In the grand scheme of things, since then, this has been the most stable type of income I've ever done. So if I'm taking it seriously right now, you better take it serious. The learning curve that I had within the first 6 months, I don't have that anymore. So there's a system in place here. Okay. So like I said, inbound marketing, outbound marketing. There's you can tackle, for outbound, you can tackle pre-foreclosure lists, tax lien lists, distressed property lists, absentees owners. There are many other ones like tired landlords. How do you find these deals? How do you find them? Well, I'm glad you asked. Okay. Shout out to Antoine Stevens. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm glad you asked. How do you find these deals? Hold on 1 second. How do you find these deals? PropStream. PropStream is the best source. Now, I can have you scramble around the internet and be looking for all these different places. You can go to the courthouse. I wouldn't advise that, of course, because your time is much more valuable than money. Okay, so you should be, as much as you can, you use money to trade for saving time, okay, to create more value. Does that make sense? So that's a quick overview of what we're doing here. Like I said, there's marketing, there's acquisition, and there's the disposition. When it comes to marketing, I focus on digital marketing. If you want to know my strategy around digital marketing, the first step is to get the book. I linked the book in the description. It's called Digital Marketing Certified. It's a book that I wrote in 2022. Okay, so it's available everywhere. It's also available in audiobook. All right, but digital marketing is what I focus on. It simply means we set up ads on social media or anywhere online digitally. Those ads will simply say something around the language: we buy houses, any condition, we buy houses, as is. Just reach out, fill out this form, call this number, and we want to get as many people as possible calling those numbers. And for as low as $25 a day, you can get your phone ringing. All right, and then after somebody calls, that's an interest. A lead was generated, and now you can have a conversation with that person. All right. So now let's dive into again. Over the course of this session, I'll be showing you how I use PropStream to pull sellers, buyers, data. The very first tip of this process when it comes to marketing is data. We turn data into contact, contact into leads, leads into contract, and then contract into closed deals. Okay, that's the same process of marketing, acquisition, and disposition. Okay, it's just that's a few micro steps within those phases. Okay, so if you don't have PropStream yet, the link is also linked in the description. You can try it out for free. All right. All right. So with that being said, before we move forward, let me just quickly put a quick break here, and then we will continue into the next segment. In this next segment, we're going to talk about the secret to building a buyers list, the secret to building a buyers list from scratch using data and cold calling. It's very, very important part of the disposition process. All right, I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So let's talk about the secret to building a buyers list from scratch using data and cold calling. Of course, what we do here is we talk about how to build a wholesale real estate business, a $10,000 per month wholesale real estate business. Like I said, my highest deal was $82,000. I haven't been able to crack that since I think it happened somewhere in 2006. Okay. $82,000 from one deal. Never fixed the house. I got a call from a marketing piece, locked up a contract, went through the process of disposition, negotiating. In that particular situation, I had to negotiate with the bank in a short sale, and you know, close the deal, and then $82,000 net. All right, so is that going to happen to you? No guarantees. What I can guarantee you is that if you follow this process consistently, you will average between $15,000 to $20,000 per deal. That's not even really a real guarantee, because I can't guarantee your work ethic or you being able to follow through a process. But I can guarantee that I will share with you every information that I have about how this business works. Okay, I'm personally using it myself, so I'm sharing everything I'm doing. I'm sharing the journey with you right now. So the secrets to buy a buyers list. What is it? Why do we need a buyers list? Well, we need a buyers list because the disposition part of that of the phase. Remember that wholesale real estate is essentially the business of finding deeply discounted properties, securing them under a contract, a purchase contract, and then assigning that contract to an end buyer, usually an investor, for a fee. So we need to also have access to what we call the end buyers. Okay, we need access to that, and because you don't want to be at the mercy of any one buyer or chasing after people. You want to kind of have access to buyer. And the way I like to do it, I like to work with proven buyers. Okay, people that have actually proven that they have the money, people that can put earnest money deposit of at least $5,000 down when they do decide to take over my contract. Okay, people that can put their money where their mouth is, because what you're going to find in this business a lot is that many people they don't have the money, they don't have the resources. There's a lot of people called the co-wholesalers, disposition specialists, randoms of the street. It's okay for people to bring you buyers, but you just want to be careful that you're not wasting time. Okay, because a lot of people will probably put you under another type of daisy chain contract, and then you count on them. You don't want to be in that position. You want to be in a position where it's okay if they bring a buyer ready to go, but if they're not ready, if they don't have a buyer ready to go, you don't want to be wasting your time with them, because when you put a property under contract, time is of the essence. People are expecting you to close, right? So you should be You should be transparent with them what your process is. You should let them know that you're going to be working with buyers within your network, but you need to also deliver quickly because they signed up with you because they want to close quickly. They are giving you a deep discount because they are counting on the fact that you can close within a few weeks, not 45 days, not 90 days later, not 365 days later. If they wanted to do that, they will simply go to a conventional real estate agent. They came to you because you said you want to buy a house and you can close quickly as is. And they give you a discount. And the fact that they give you a discount already puts you in a position, if you know what you're doing, to get it closed as soon as possible. But here's the good news. You have a buyers list here on PropStream. Okay, so on PropStream, you have you can simply search. You can simply search any county you like. So for me, I'm just gonna go to let's say I'm gonna go to Hillside, New Jersey. Hillside, New Jersey. Okay, just for example's sake, all right. And if I click, when I look here, I can see a couple of things. Okay, I can see that there's a list of proven 284 cash buyers here. I can see there's something called the 12 flipper agents here. Flipper agents are pretty much agents, real estate agents that have represented cash buyers. What you're looking for is cash buyers. You don't want mortgage buyers. Okay, priority at least is cash buyers. Again, remember, people that can close quickly. Okay, people that have money in the bank, they just want to make sure that title is clear, they like the deal, and they want to close. Those are the people you're looking to work with. You want to assign your deals to these people. Does that make sense? So where do you get the data? PropStream, again, like I said, and you want to contact these buyers manually. Remember, this is not, some people will say, hey, why don't you start marketing using digital? For this part of the business, you used the digital marketing to find the sellers, right? You use it to create a pipeline of sellers. But when these sellers start to fall in, you want to close that deal fast. So you want to be contacting this buyer. Step one is to have access to data, and that's PropStream. Step two is to contact buyers using cold calling, SMS, emails. Okay, and believe it or not, that's a actual simple process that PropStream also have made easy because they allow you to do what they call skip tracing instead of PropStreams. Okay, so step one, where to get the data? You can go through my affiliate link again, and my affiliate link is linked in the description. That's how you support us here, and you can get access to all the data you need. Again, you can have access to all of this for free by going through the courthouse. I wouldn't advise that, of course, because time is much more valuable than money. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right, and the step two is to contact those buyers using a cold call. Again, you can skip trace their contact information inside of PropStream. Okay, once you gather, if you follow, the PropStream has tutorials step by step how to do this, so I won't go through that here. But again, you want to contact them. When you skip trace means they help you do automatic research. They give you the name, the email address, and then they give you phone numbers, and you can reach out to those people and let them know what you have. Remember, these are proven buyers, people that have bought properties within the area that you have a property locked under contract. Okay, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what to tell them right now. Don't overthink this. These are savvy investors, usually people that know what they're doing, people that are actually waiting for this kind of calls because this is their bread and butter. They want to make money by buying properties with deep discount. They don't care how much money you make as long as they make money. Okay, and they'll tell you if your numbers are off. They'll work with you, and then also you build relationships with these people for the long run, because the more relationship we have with more buyers, the better, because that means you can get rid of properties quickly as soon as you're locking them under contract. So what do you say to them? You simply call their name. Joe? Yes, this is Joe. Joe, this is Ola. Are you still buying properties by any chance? Because I'm a wholesaler in the area. I have a property I think you should take a look at. Yes. You want to send it to my email? You want to send me a text message? Or you want to tell me about it right now? That's what the conversation looks like. Anything less than that, if it becomes more complicated than that, there's a good chance you're talking to the wrong person. Okay. Sometimes they will be like, oh, that's my partner. You know, you want to talk to my partner. You want to talk to my acquisition specialist. Things like that. Okay. And don't overcomplicate this process. And step 4 is to just keep a simple document, something similar to this guy right here, like this, like a simple Google Doc. Okay, just especially in the beginning, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate. You're going to be talking to just a few people. Okay, keep track of the conversation. Use your phone reminder, your phone calendars and stuff like that to track your conversations with these potential buyers. They might not be a buyer right now. They can potentially get the information down. They can potentially be a buyer in the nearest future. Also, last but not least for this segment, PropStream comes with a very simple contact marketing thing here. On the left hand side over here, you can see that they have my properties, they have contact, and then you have the skip tracing. It's a place where you see all the properties you've skip traced in the past. Skip trace means you find, they help you find their phone numbers, right? And then you can also run some campaigns, believe it or not, from here, right? You can send out postcards. You can see postcards that we've sent in the past, and in years past. Okay, so we'll be using PropStream for a while, as a matter of fact. Okay, you can send postcards, and they also give you like a quick, a couple of tools to help you manage your contacts and things like that, if that's what you want to do. Okay, but this is how I find cash buyers. Okay, it's very, very simple process. If you want, save this video and watch it over and over again. And again, PropStream is the one-stop shop for everything. So what is the first step? Data. You need access to data, and you can use my affiliate link over there to get access to PropStream. And then number 2, how to contact buyers. Cold call, SMS, email. Just keep trace inside of PropStream, and you have access to all this information. Now again, this step is the disposition part. We can actually help you with this. If you have deals to get rid of, we can help you with this part if you want to partner with us. But if you want to do it on your own, like I told you, like I promised you on this platform, I'm sharing everything away for free. What do you say to them? Joe, hey, are you still buying properties? Are you looking for anything? Yes. You want to send me a text? Just keep it simple. Okay, people, if you read too much script and stuff like that, like, people can tell. Just be natural. What do you want from them? What do you have to offer them? You have a contract for them. That's gold for them if it's the right deal. And step 4, just track your responses with simple spreadsheet, and you can use the CRM inside of PropStream just like that. So that's how to find that's how to build a buyers list over time from scratch using data and cold calling. All right, so I have other things that I want to share with you today, and yeah, if you got some value from that, please do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about list pendens. We have other videos on this platform about list pendens. List pendens is Latin for lawsuits, something like that. Again, I always butcher it, so don't worry about it. It's just a Latin phrase that says foreclosure is coming. Okay, and it's massive opportunity. It's a massive opportunity. It's how I started in the game 20 years ago. It's still a massive opportunity because I think over 140,000 foreclosures has been filed this year alone. Okay, uh Sadly, but that represents opportunities for people who are willing to flip such situation into profit in real estate, because somebody's going to do it, right? But we're talking about flipping, we're talking about wholesaling, of course. We're talking about finding deeply discounted properties. What is wholesale? Real quick, a quick recap. Wholesale real estate is the business of finding deeply discounted properties, securing them under contract, and assigning that contract to an end buyer, usually an investor, for a fee. And finding deeply discounted properties, you can use many other many methods. Okay, one of the methods is to go after a list of list pendings. Okay, some people spell it as Pendes, others spell it as Pendens. It's the same thing, as essentially. Okay, essentially the same thing. Okay, so but what is list pendings? Again, what it means is pending lawsuit, foreclosure lawsuits. Okay, somebody stopped payment. They stopped payment on a mortgage, on a piece of property, on a lien against a piece of property. They stop payment. Now, this is typically, for the most part, a bank, a mortgage bank. They don't want properties, they want their money. Okay, they don't want properties, they simply want their money. And sometimes they use collection activities, right, to find this money. And most times they're always open to negotiations. Okay, most time they're open to negotiation. So so why am I saying that? Because again, we're looking for properties, deeply discounted properties. Why? Because that's how we make money. We're looking for the deeply discounted properties, create built-in equity that you can now share with others for a fee. Or you can keep it for your own portfolio and build a portfolio of rental properties with built-in equity, as opposed to what everybody else does. Everybody else will simply go out to a realtor, a conventional real estate agent, and they will put a bid on a property that's marked at retail price. You have the luxury of this information. So, and you don't have to do that. All right? You don't have to do that. That's what we're talking about. So now, how to use list pendings to find motivated sellers? Well, who said finding motivated sellers? Yes, finding motivated sellers is essentially how we find these deals, because nobody in their normal right mind would just want to give you a property that's worth $100,000. Nobody's is gonna want to give you that kind of property for $65,000. Well, on a normal day, they wouldn't want to do that, right? So, so why would they want to give it to you today? Is because they are a motivated seller. A motivated seller have a reason beyond your understanding, probably beyond their own personal understanding. For some reason, they're in a desperate situation, in a dicey situation. A property that may be valuable to them is affecting their books in a negative way, and they need to get rid of it. And that's what we're talking about. Okay. And what kind of dicey situation? Okay, their name is on the list pendings. They are facing foreclosure. They can no longer afford to keep up to this property. They tried to become a landlord. That's all. They wanted to be an investor. They ended up being an overglorified landlord. So one of this list that we can go after to find these people is called list pendings. Okay, it's a legal notice. It is distressed sellers. How do you find them? Step 2 is PropStream. Okay, the link is in the bio, of course, as usual. That's how you find them. Or you can go to your local courthouse and say, hey, I'm looking for a list of people in pre-foreclosures, or a list of pending lawsuits, people that are late on their mortgage payment. You can manually walk to your courthouse in your local county house and do that, or you can simply use PropStream. The link is on the screen. All right, so if we're inside of PropStream, the list looks a little something like this. If you go here, in Hillside, New Jersey, let me use something else. Let's use, I'm thinking Orange, New Jersey. No, I don't like that. Let me use Piscataway, New Jersey. Piscataway, New Jersey. All right, that's more of a more decent neighborhood, right? Uh-oh, let me see. Did I get that right? Yep. So we'll go under filter. This is PropStream. There are 13 auctions, 13 bank-owned properties, bankruptcy 34, cash buyers 527, divorce 2, failed listings. These are gold mine, right? The list we're looking for that's synonymous to list pendants is called pre-foreclosure. This list right here. When I click on it, then I close this guy, and then we can basically see a list of 68 pieces of properties. Okay, and these properties are facing, they're on the list pendants list. This one was recorded as far back as the 10th of June 2024. Notice of, what does it say? So let me click into this property right here. Let's use this as an example. Pre-foreclosure detail, right? Notice of document type, notice of list pendants. All right, and this was filed as far back as 24. Now they might have paid up and been out of problem, but it doesn't mean. Have you ever tried to pay up a bill? I've been there. Okay, where you're trying to pay bills, you're catching up, but for the next 2 years you're still stressed out financially, and somebody now comes up and say they want to buy a house. That's part of the problems, and you're just in the right position, the right timing. So you can see this name here. You can skip trace this name from inside of PropStream. Okay, and again, they have tutorials to guide you through that process. You just have to explore PropStream. That's list pendants right there. Okay, so that's an example. All right, you simply reach out. You want to reach out to these people, I will use postcards. Okay, I will use postcards. Postcards is a form of inbound marketing. It's just snail mail. And the way you set it up, you can set it all up inside of a PropStream. They will send out the postcards to these pieces. You can make sure you send at least if I was going to do this, I will send at least 100 at a time. So this list has 68. I will go to another town next door and make sure it's at least 100 that I'm sending at any point in time. And I will send at least 100 every week. And that's what I did the first 6 months in the business, that I was able to do a deal, and something I did constant. So I do it all digital marketing now. I did some bandit signs, those signs on the thing too, on the pole, the electric pole that says we buy houses. I did some of those. I closed a lot of deals from those as well. And then of course, over time, people get to know what you do. They refer people that need to sell quickly to you as well. So I also close some deals from that. All right, so that's the second segment that I wanted to cover today. That's list pendants. List pendants continue to be a gold mine, especially now that a lot of tire landlords are getting in more and more and more trouble. A lot of people are buying properties right there where they're breaking even, and before one or two life events happens to them, before they know it, it's too late. They're in trouble, and they're now looking for a way to get rid of the problem. And if you know this business, then you become a source of those type of deals, directly, indirectly, outbound, inbound, either way, same thing. All right, so on this next segment or video, if you will, I'm going to talk about assignment deals. I'm going to explain what assignment deals are, and then we'll take you from there. So do me a favor, if you're getting value from this, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified every time we go live or drop videos, because I will continue to do this. Like I said, on this channel we have 1,300 videos already. We're not going to stop anytime soon, but you also don't want to miss out, because you never know when the right information will come at you. All right, so I'll be right back. I have one more thing I wanted to share with you. I'll be right back. Welcome back. All right, so assignment deals explain. Let's talk about assignment deals and how to dispose your contract like a pro. I have another segment that I just finished. You might want to watch that along with this one, or rewind, or make sure you really get it. But I'm going to go through the steps again. It's a little bit different, but this time around I want to do I want to explain what assignment deals and double close and a new method that a lot of people are talking about, novation. Okay, novation is actually, before they call it novation, I've done novations in the past. But now there's name for everything. But let me promise you about something. Many of you might have even found out about wholesale before. Okay, what is wholesale business or wholesale real estate? Wholesale real estate is the business of finding deeply discounted properties. A business. Okay, it's not a fly-by-night anything. It's a real business that will require some effort on your part, but when it starts to produce, it's going to feel like you're printing money. Okay, it's the business of finding deeply discounted real estate properties, securing them under a purchase contract, and then assigning that contract to an end buyer, usually a cash buyer investor, for a fee. Money, right? The typical assignment fee starts at around $10,000, with an average net profit ranging between $15,000 to $20,000 per deal. My highest that I've ever done is $82,000 per deal. And how do we start? It's very simple. It's three phases: marketing, digital marketing in this case. That's what I teach here. Digital marketing, acquisition, and disposition. Digital marketing, acquisition, and disposition. Now, the disposition part of it is what I want to focus on a little bit right now. Okay, so once you market and then you have a bunch of people call you, well, every other day somebody calls you, they might have a property, but then you find a really good deal and you went through the acquisition. That means you locked it up under a purchase contract. Okay, and then you dispose your contract like a pro. That's what we want to talk about. So once you have those contracts, you have to assign those contracts to an end buyer. And that's what we call assignment deals. Okay, but assignment deal is one of multiple different types of disposition. Okay, we have assignment, we also have double close. All right, and assignment simply means you take that same contract has been written in a way that you're able to sign it over to an end buyer investor. Okay, they will usually pay you at closing once everything flows through. Right, now the other type of closing is probably what I recommend. Is most of my deals have happened through this method, and it's called double closing, meaning there are two different contracts. There's an A to B contract, and there's a B to C contract. So the original sales contract, the one that you locked up, was a contract between you and the actual seller. And then the second part of the contract, another contract entirely, is a contract between you and the buyer. So there's two separate contracts, okay? And those two separate contracts are two separate transactions. Back in the days, we were able to use the same fund from the end buyer to do the deal all the way through. But today, they kind of since 2008, around 2008 2010, they enforced that it must be two different type of funds that will fund those two different transactions. Now the two different transactions are usually about 5 minutes apart or less. You close one deal, you now own the house for like 2 minutes, and then you sell the house to another person. That's double closing. It's still the safest way to do it, okay? Because it separates the contracts. Now you have one title work. Title work is basically the history of the property, and you've made sure it's clean. So same title company, same attorney is handling the transaction. So they check everything, make sure everything is good to go, and it's all legal. Okay. Now some situation might have stipulations, but stipulations means there's always a way to walk around it legally. You just have to make sure you obey the rules. All right, and that's why I always use attorneys. All right, so now with that being said, now you understand this assignment. The same contract, but you sign an assignment contract that says you're going to get paid $10,000, but it's the same purchase contract for the real estate. But for double closing, you have two different types of contract. Okay, so I wanted to give you a quick breakdown of what that looks like. All right, now with that being said, now that we got that out of the way, there's something called protecting your profit. I told you the story. My first deal was just, it wasn't even an assignment contract. Obviously, it was my first deal. It was just one contract from the seller to the buyer. and I was collecting a fee. And today that would be inappropriate. Okay, I was collecting a fee and I wasn't a licensed realtor. But back in 2005, they let a lot of things slide. So they just had a fee for my name, Ola Abitogun, $20,000. And because the one statement sheet, the hard one statement, right? This is a statement of all where all the monies are going, like the appraiser, the inspector, the title company, the attorney, all those fees are in one statement, right? How the money is going to be disbursed. And my name was one name on there. And I didn't even start my first LLC company at the time. It was after closing that deal that I created my first LLC. So people ask me all the time, do I need an LLC? Yes, you need an LLC, but you know what you need more so? You need to learn how to do the business and start marketing, okay? The LLC thing, you can create that right now in 2 minutes on the internet. That's the easiest part. Doing the business is where you need to put your head down and get to work, okay? So anyway, so because it's the same statement sheet, the guy saw that I was making $20,000 off of the deal. Okay, I still remember the house. The house is on 45. Is it Ogden? Something like that in Newark. I have a list of all the deals I've done. But anyway, sorry, Mon Avenue in Newark, New Jersey. So $20,000, and then he saw it, and the guy said he's not gonna do the deal. He said, "Why am I making $20,000 off of his house?" I'm like, "Your house? You called me. You wanted to sell the house. The house is sold. This is just money going towards the parts of the transaction." The guy said it's not gonna close. I said, "I'll give you $10,000 more," and we had to change the numbers, and then we gave him $10,000 more. So that's how I ended up with $10,000 for my first deal. Okay. So that, why did I tell you that? You know, if you want to protect your profit, you don't want everybody to, like, if I had done a double closing, then that fee would have been on another transaction in another hot sheet that has nothing to do with this transaction. I would have closed the deal clean, and then I'm now selling the house to somebody else, and I'm just making money from selling my own house within 5 minutes. So that's what double closing does, you know. And then obviously you need the right kind of contracts and stuff like that. You need the right people to help you through this kind of transaction. You need investor friendly title company and attorneys and all those kind of people in your corner. All right. So that's how that works. It's very simple. So double closings, or novation, is basically, you notice that the numbers that you locked under contract is too high, and it's best to list the house on the market. And there's something called novation where you can still take a contract, and then when you do find a buyer, you simply swap the contract. So that's another method that people are talking about. But for me, if you're doing marketing properly and you're marketing and you fill your pipeline with leads coming in from time to time, you won't need to cut a bunch of corners that people are trying to cut these days. So just keep it simple. Acquire deals, and dispose those deals with double closing. Keep them simple and keep your profit, keep your operation straight line, simple. And the more deals you do, the more tolerance you will have for some more creative stuff. But you need to know the business first. All right. So if you don't do double closing, then there's issues like ARV compromise. ARV means after repair value and things like that. And then also contract expiring, expiration. This happens if you don't have all your, you don't have to have everything perfect. Let me be careful with that. But when it comes to marketing, just get going. Okay, you're gonna learn as time goes on. What I did is that first deal I did by myself, but the subsequent 3 deals after that I had in the pipeline already. I did it with a partner mentor, and that's the same thing I'm offering people right now. That's why I do this for free, because I'm looking to partner with you and make money with you. Okay. So, but assignment deals are okay. It's just that there's only, when you assign a deal, a lot of time if there's what do you call them, hard money lender involved in the deal, if there's a lender involved in the deal, they restrict the money you can make to like $10,000 or $15,000. They don't want to see some high fee on the hard one going to some random who claim to have found the deal. It just doesn't look good on their books as far as they're concerned. They would rather keep because hard money lenders are in the business to make money from investors. They rather keep that money to themselves. But if you're doing double closing, they don't care. Okay, why was I able to make $82,000 from one deal? Because it was double closing. All right, so that's it right there. That's I wanted to hopefully you learn one or two things today. Do me a favor, if you like what we're doing here, we're trying to reboot this channel. Again, there's more than 1,300 videos. We have some viral videos, but we're trying to reboot the channel, bring us back to speed again. I'm looking to partner with you. The business is very, very simple. There's tons of information out there. My job is to keep things a little bit more straightforward for you so you can get to a deal as fast as humanly possible. I'm on the same journey. Okay, so I'm actually building things. I'm building out a system. I have a system because there's no learning curve. I know this stuff. But what I'm saying is that we're on a journey together. We're partnering together now. It's not just me teaching you a course and then you just go out there. So let's get into some marketing. Let's get some things going. Follow my lead, and then we got things going. But the first step, you need access to PropStream. You need to explore that. There's tutorials in there, there's videos in there, and on the homepage of this channel, there are 2 courses for free that you can follow. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and learn the game. If you have any questions, all my contact information is scrolling through the screen. Take them down. They should also be in the description. All right, that's all I have for you today. We're gonna keep it simple. I want you to go ahead and have the rest of your day. Have a fantastic one. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I will be right back soon.